Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman Battle Network Operates Star Force. In the last part, the town ran out of water, and now it's time for us to check out the more important thing going on in town, the new chip shop. Also, that's what my folder's looking like at the moment, in case you're curious. This car's new. I'm sure that's not key in any regard. Huh? Where'd that star come from? Well, if you can't tell by the sign, welcome to Higsby's Chip Shop. He actually opened one. You want some chips, huh? There are some battle chips in the game that can only be gotten here, or at least more easily gotten here, but his inventory does actively increase the further you get into the game, so most of the chips I'd recommend I just wait on until you have more money anyway. The only one that I really want now is a Lex Sword, because we're coming up on a lot of water-type viruses, so having an electric chip could be very advantageous to you, especially if you already have a good folder that codes well with E. In particular, I think what would go well with that is the high cannon chip line. I think that's in, like, EFG from memory. Or is it DEF? I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment. With that said, this is a relatively important place outside of that for a couple of other reasons. Outside of also having a really kick-ass poster of Vile from Megaman.Exe, we have the chip traders here. When you put chips in the chip trader, you get a new one, sort of like a lottery. The red one takes 3 chips to get one back, the blue one needs 10 chips, but it gives more rares. You can use either one, but don't lose all of your chips. And putting in good chips doesn't mean you get a good one. The only thing that matters is how many chips, 3 or 10. The chip traders in this game work on a whole bunch of math that I barely understand. There's a paste spin that if I remember to, I will put in the description. The bottom line is that the 3 chip trader can give you about any chip that's rated 1 through 3 stars in the library's rarity. The 10 chip trader can give you, by and large, 95+% of the chips in the game in a good amount of their codes. But you're drawing from such a large pool of chips at that point that early on you might get a lot of new ones, but by the end game you're just getting nothing. That machine gun numberman data, huh? You want a net battle in, huh? Collecting rare chips ain't easy, huh? But in this building is also where we can refight Numberman for his V2 variant, as well later on his version 3 variant. With that said, by and large, it's the same fight. He doesn't move. I think his number balls might get a bit healthier, maybe. But honestly, this fight only gets easier to me on later variants, because when you're able to fight them, you can just have better and better battle chips. And I guess, technically speaking, the boss refights are supposed to get easier, period. But sometimes, just due to the difficulty of the boss increase, or where you might encounter the boss, period, it's not as noticeably easier sometimes. With that said, for beating Numberman V2, we are going to get his battle chip, which is not one I like to use. It works the exact same way as his dice bomb attack that he does in the battle. It summons Numberman to the field, he rolls a dice on the enemy field, and it will do 10 times its roll value to the enemy field. So Numberman 1 can only do, I believe, a pitiful 6 damage. The later variants are technically better, but at that point, there's just better battle chips you can get, especially Navi chips by that point in the game. Still, always feels good to throw Mega Man into something. Still, that's Numberman V2. Not much is different. I recall the later games doing better about diversifying the later versions of bosses a bit, but early on it's not much. Defeat is the result of a lack of skill, not a lack of chips, huh? Cool. With that said, we should probably actually go investigate why there's no water, because I feel like that's going to be a more prevalent issue to society at hand unless it's resolved. So let's get on over there. Ooh, but first off, we've got mail. From Yai. It turns out that missing kid from B class was kidnapped. Lan, you have to help us look for him, okay? You better help or I won't call your name in homeroom. Good luck, Yai. P.S. Buy some water if you find any, please. Good luck with that. It's... Actually, no, the water situation is better now, and even in real life, but last year in 2020, oh boy, especially as someone who works in a grocery store. Oh boy. With that said, I believe this scenario is why they make you walk to Scilab the way they do in the last portion, because you'll just register what the Waterworks is in your memory from that alone. So let's see what we can do around here. I'm assuming they've probably gotten a lot of reports already, but let's just see. Nope. Hi there, you're new. Therefore, a check of the Waterworks and net is needed.
You're an official net battler, right? I understand. If you could show me your ID card.
Here.
I see. Insert your ID card to use the elevator. The elevator will take you around the works automatically.
Thank you. What's a kid like you doing here? You're in the way. What's his problem? You are a kid, you know. But, wait, did you hear that? He's an official net battler. They fight net crime. I've heard of them before. They can net battle anywhere they want. Isn't that cool? Wonder what kind of net navies they use. Who cares? Let's go check out the Waterworks.
Sorry to catch you waiting. Are you an official net battler?
No.
If it's about the water shortage, go over there.
Yes?
Oh, may I see your ID card? If you don't have your ID, I can't let you in.
Well, shit. I distinctly recall when I first played the game wandering a little bit here at this point because I hadn't investigated the thing I need to investigate in order to progress. The bottom line is we need to head over to Dad's lab in Scilab. Because they keep the elevators locked to keep out intruders. You need a Scilab ID to use them. I only use these, but I guess the IDs work on all elevators. So, we need a Scilab ID that will open the door to the Waterworks because they use the same registration system. Thankfully, we know someone in Scilab, and would you look at that, he probably has an ID in his jacket. Lab Smuck. The ID says Dr. Hikari. I know, I'll just borrow this for a bit. And Dad will never know. With that, though, now we can actively enter the Waterworks. Why they see this young child entering the elevator and don't do anything to stop him from entering the Waterworks elevator, I don't know. They probably just assume I'm where I'm supposed to be. Let's go check out the pump room. Sure, a lot of kids here today.
This water cooler's also broken. There's no water inside.
I mean, it's happening all the way over here, too. God damn. And the drinks are all bought. Well, sorry, Yai. The machinery is further inside. Cool. Welcome to the Waterworks core. The pumps are actually in the room to our top right, and you can enter there, but there's basically nothing to ever do there until towards the end of the game anyway. But more importantly, we can check this locker over here that has the staff's personal belongings to grab an HP memory. And hey, always good to have more of that. What are you doing here? This area's for staff only. AC/DC Town's water supply is stopped. Yeah, I know. Looks like he knows. There seems to be a bug in the pump program. We're doing our best to remove the bug. It'll be fixed soon. Oh, okay. It would have been bad if it were a World 3 scheme, but, well... thanks for coming down to tell us. Sure, no problem. As long as you're here, why don't you take a tour? Cool! That, by the way, is the guy that staff member down there just mentioned. That's Dr... I think it's meant to be Dr. Foy, but it's Dr. Freud to me. It always has been. But we can thankfully jack into the main control computer here and grab ourselves a couple of items. I think there's even a couple new viruses in here, I think. And if I recall which one it is, it's a pretty fun one to fight for a ship. Yes, it is. This is the Piranha 2s. We haven't fought Piranha 1s yet. We won't until the next dungeon, if memory serves. 150 HP. They do 70 damage per hit, but the way they work is interesting. They teleport around the map as a group, and whenever you get in one of their targeting reticules, all of them fire at once trying to hit you. And if there's 3, they're usually all placed in different rows. They're in control of the Tri-Arrow/Tri-Spear line. In particular, Tri-Spear does 50 damage and fires 3 bursts of the spears in the row you're on for a total of 150 damage if it all hits. They're pretty good ships, but I don't use them too much in Battle Network 1. Or I could run into Piranha 1s here, actually. I forgot about that. Piranha 1's 100 HP, 50 damage. Same thing. The Tri-Arrow trip they drop is through the A through E codes, and the Tri-Spear is in the F through J codes, from memory. But I believe Piranha 1s can only... Actually, no, they can drop it all. They start dropping Tri-Arrow starting from rank 5, and from there it just gets better and better. I would recommend getting Tri-Arrow B if you had a taste in them through busting rank 8 through S, whereas Piranha 2s, personally speaking, I would recommend Tri-Spear G at 7 through 10. Because the G code's pretty good, especially through the mid-game, and the B code codes well with a lot of really good program advances by the end game and post game. With that, though, by and large, our duties here are done in the Waterworks, but you can head back here to see the pump room. I don't know why. I think it's just because of how silent it is here. It always reminds me of this one room in Mega Man Legends in Old Town, where this factory is that's there for really no reason other than just to extend the environmental storytelling, quote-unquote, of Catalog's Island. I don't know why. That factory has always stuck out to me. Lan, doesn't something seem wrong? What? I mean, why would an official come to check out a bug? And it's not just the water that's missing, too. This isn't going to be easy to fix. I'm afraid so. Let's hide out and check out the net once everyone leaves. Right, good idea. Now to find a place to hide. Well, there's only really one place we can do that. We have to head to Dad's office. Also, it's really weird to see Mega Man be the one that suggests we break rules. It's actually kind of unusual compared to his behavior in the later games, but I guess Mega Man does realize that sometimes things have to happen in order for things to be fixed. Well, nobody will come here, will they? And Dad is... right. Okay, let's hide out here for a while then. Okay. So this lab doesn't have security cameras in it? That seems like a massive oversight. Also, that lady at the desk directly to our west should be able to see us. Today's hours of operation are over. Everyone should be gone by now. Let's go. Does it usually take a couple of hours for people to leave after hours of operation end, at least for employees? That kind of announcement's usually meant for visitors. Let's go down to the lobby. But at this point, we just have to head back the same way we did before. Just head to investigate the elevator, which, by the way, weird to investigate the elevator switch to move down. Some later games, you actually just have to investigate the elevator proper or just walk into it. It's locked. Hey, do you hear someone typing? They're using a PC. We can't check out the network like this. Hurry up and find something we can jack into. All right, there's not many things around here, though. So I guess you could probably figure out what we have to jack into pretty quickly. A water cooler. It has a jack-in port. Jack in! Mega Man! Execute! Hey! Yes? What do you think you're doing here? Uh-oh. I got lost. I see. Well, you're not supposed to be in here. So, go home. Got it? Yeah. Good. Now go home like a good little boy. Well, we going home? You kidding? Let's do it. I don't know why. I appreciate Lan's attitude of that being like, screw it. That's just funny to me. Funny, it's frozen here and there. And there's no Navis or programs anywhere. That guy said he'd be here debugging, but I smell a rat. Let's go see what's wrong with the water supply program. Roger. It's slippery, so let's walk carefully with the B button. Alright, so what they mean here is that we have a bunch of ice. The moment you touch the ice, you slide in the direction you touched it on until you either get off the ice, or actually that's it, because if you hit a wall, you just continue along the direction that the wall is parallel to. Now, what they mean by walk carefully with the B button is a little bit of a misnomer, in a way. Also, we're fighting Cloudy ones again here, I believe. This is technically the first real encounter with them, even though I did fight them in the virus machine earlier. This is just to show you that they are in this area. You see, the main thing with the Battle Network games on the Game Boy Advance is that in order to run at max speed with Lan or Mega Man, you need to hold down the B button. But that mechanic was by and large removed in the Star Force games, the sequel series to Battle Network. So for Operate Star Force, they made it so that your running speed was your natural state. To walk, you have to hold the B button. And honestly, there's no real point to doing that. I think you might avoid sliding, or at least be in better control of it. But you can just angle yourself properly and not have to worry about it at all. With that said, a lot of the enemies we're going to be finding in here aren't exactly new ones for us at this point. We're going to be seeing a lot of Volgear 2s, Piranha 1s, I think a couple Piranha 2s, and some other scattered new ones here and there in the later computers, but for right now, this is all we're going to be running into. With that said, that's why I bought the Elect Sword chip earlier, because there's a lot of Aqua-type viruses in here. Oh, hi there. Who are you? That's no Waterworks Navi. It must be one of World 3's. What are you doing? You dare call me one of those World 3 lackeys? What is it, Proto Man? Chad, sir. You, from before? Ah, you again. You're not an official net battler. Are you lost? Do I look lost? Fine, but I am an official net battler, Eugene Chad. And I'm his net Navi, Proto Man. Get in our way, and we'll have to delete you, kid. You can't just delete people who get in your way. I can, and easily at that, but I've got work to do. Proto Man, sir. I'll deal with you later. Watch out for World 3 agents, kid. What an attitude! Lan, getting mad will just make you thirstier. You're right. Megaman, let's go. Okay. Additionally, another mechanic we have to deal with here after that cutscene, though, is brought up right here. If you run water over the ice, it'll melt. You can walk over the melted ice, but not over water. If you jack out, the water will return, but the ice will not return. So essentially, in the last area, we had to turn off a valve to get rid of some water. The water is used as both an obstacle and as for an object for us to use to progress in the area. It just depends on which valve you're investigating, like this one. So this one will cause a water flow to go over that ice below us, getting rid of these central panels a bit, but you have to make sure you turn the water back off, because otherwise you're not progressing. Also, did I see someone over here? I'm just a friendly neighborhood Navi. It's a dead end from here, sorry. Really? Wonder why that is. Ah, the handle's missing. Looks like it's broken. Let's worry about this one later then. I'm sure that won't come back into play in any regard. But more importantly, I want to come down here to get this HP memory. Any more HP I'll take, I will always take. In fact, by and large, barring a power-up potentially to up your attack or your charge rate, always get HP memories first out of anything in a shop. Because there's always, they're going to just get up and up in price the further you get into the game. And to be frank, there might be better things to spend your Zenny on later on, because there might be some particularly rare chips that you want for your folder setup. With that said, in here we got a new virus. This is the Puffy 1. We've already run into Puffy 2s earlier on in the game. They stay exactly where they are and fire water bubbles at you. Unlike Puffy 2s, which fire bubbles at you that explode. These ones I don't think explode on an area of effect, though. They drop the bubble battle chip from memory. No, bubbler / heat spread in Operate Star Force, which does damage of the Aqua element, I think 50 of it, to a panel and the panel behind it, but I might be thinking of the bubbler battle chip from the prior game, or from the later games, technically, which works like that. It might be a spreader that's Aqua elements. Well, I can't honestly remember because I seldom use them, because their chip codes just aren't exactly the best. And if you want to get it, though, I believe Puffy 1s drop bubbler from rank 5 or above. I think the S code's probably the best one you can get for it from memory. But the more important thing here is Ice Punch B. Now, this does 150 Aqua elemental damage to the panel directly in front of you, which is good. But you can combine it with a couple of other chips to do another program advanced. In fact, that's why I have a couple more gut punches in my folder now, because it codes with that pretty well, both in terms of the actual coding, but also for said program advanced. More on that as we use it later on. And that's me fighting the piranhas in order to get the Tri-Arrow battle chip. C code's not a bad one for it, honestly. I would rather get the B code, but C's pretty good. C would code well with some things. Admittedly, the experimentation part of Battle Network is a little bit overwhelming on a first playthrough, because I didn't use a lot of the battle chips in these games growing up, even the really good ones. It was mostly just later experimentation and seeing stuff on the internet that made me experiment as much as I do now with it. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 9, we're going to be continuing on the Waterworks and seeing if we can figure out what the hell's going on here to begin with. See you guys then.